In this video, we're going to talk about the inverse function of some more complicated function. In previous, we talked about how to find the inverse function of a linear function. Now, if I want you to find the inverse function of 5x to the cube plus 1, how do you do? Again, the first step is we write fx equals to y. So I have a y equals to 5x cubed plus 1. And then you need to swap s and the y. I have x equals to 5y to the cube plus 1. And then solve for y. I got x minus 1. You subtract 1 on both sides. I have a y to the cube. And then divided by 5. So I will have x minus 1 or 5 equals to y to the cube. And then I take cubic root on both sides. Then I have a y equals to cubic root of x minus 1 over 5. And then I need to rewrite, since this is already inverse function, I need to rewrite y equals to the inverse function notation. So here is our inverse function. Okay, another one for the inverse function would be a little bit more complicated. Is if we have an inverse function for a rational function, such as find the inverse function of fx. Let's not use fx, we're using so many fx. G of t equals to t plus 3 over t minus 2. Okay, in this one, first step, you will write y equals to t plus 3 over t minus 2. The second step is you swap t and y. So I have t equals to y plus 3 and then y minus 2. Okay, after you swap them, I want to solve for y, right? So how do you do that? We want y to on one side of the equation. So the first step is, well, I can multiply y minus 2 on both sides. So I got, y minus 2 times t equals to y plus 3. And then I distribute the t into the function. So the yt minus 2t equals to y plus 3. So now if you look at here, our goal is to solve for t. That means we want, our goal is to solve for y. That means we want y on the one side and the other term on the other side. So now let's move all the terms with y on the one side. So we have these two. So we want to move these two on the left side and the other terms on the right side. So what we need to do is we minus t on both sides. So I will have yt minus t, and now we have a plus 2t. Again, you want to merge these on the other side because they don't have the y. So when I plus 2t on both sides, I will get 3 plus 2t. Okay, so why would I do that? Because if I merge all the t on the one side, we can factor the t out. Because now all the y on the, move the y on the one side, not move the t. So when I factor the t, y out, I have a t minus 1, y times t minus 1, 3 plus 2t. Now I can divide t minus 1 on both sides. So I will get y equals to 3 plus 2t over t minus 1. Haha, that's it. That's how we solve for y. And now we will write y equals to the inverse function of g of t. So that would be the inverse function of gt, this one. So let's try another examples, such as fx equals to 20 plus 0.4x over 100 plus x. Same thing, we would write it as y equals to 20 plus 0.4x over 100 plus x. And then you want to swap s and y. I have x equals to 20 plus 0.4y over 100 plus y. And now you need to solve for y. Well, what you would do is you multiply the denominator on both sides. So the denominator cancelled. Okay, so now the next step is I distribute the x for inside. So I have 100x plus xy equals to 20 plus 0.4y. Okay, again, you merge all the terms with y on the one side and the term without y on the other side. So I will have xy minus 0.4y because I want to move the 0.4y to the left side. And then also I need to subtract 100x on both sides. So I will have 20 minus 100x. And then factor the y out because y is the common factor on the left side. After you do that, you just need to divide x minus 0.4 on both sides. Then I will have y equals to 20 minus 100x over x minus 0.4. And the last step, don't forget about that, you want to write f inverse x into y. So that would be our inverse function. So that's it for the rational function inverse function. See you next time.